Hi, this is Larry with Man Cave Mayhem. Today we are going to be working on the Ford F-150. Specifically, I am working on my Molle panel setup. I originally bought the Molle panel clamps, or whatever you want to call them, from Rough Country. Rubber Molle panel clamp kit. Originally I bought too small of a clamp kit, so I was able to mount a flashlight, a tiny flashlight. So I decided to reach out to them and get a little bit bigger kit for possibly an axe. So that's what we're working on today. When they originally sent me out the first kit, there was a problem with it. I was missing a hardware bag, or I was missing parts in the hardware bag. So they were kind enough to send me out another hardware bag, which I actually got a hold of a human being, which is unusual on a lot of companies, and it was kind of nice. I talked to the guy and he said no problem. Sent me out another hardware bag with no questions asked. So they seem like a pretty good company to work with. I'm not sponsored by them. They didn't give me any breaks or anything, but they did work with me as far as sending out the appropriate hardware that was originally missing from the kit. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on this. If you haven't yet, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Check us out at Instagram at mancave_mayhem. Now let's get on with the video. All right, to start out with, this is a pretty basic kit. I've already opened it up, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you what you can expect when you get this kit. First off, there's some packaging. I always look at the packaging to make sure there isn't anything that should be in it. These are usually what they put in that paper packaging, so be aware of that. So you get a hardware bag, and then these two pieces of hardware here, which are, you'll see in the process how these work. You get an instruction, and you also get the clamps themselves, which are in this box here. Pretty straightforward setup, pretty straightforward install, but I'm going to show you. They're made out of a really nice rubber, and I'm not sure, you know, the jury's not in yet as far as how long this will last, but it says the rubber will hold up and is resistant to all kinds of weather conditions. We'll see if that really is true over time. But yeah, these are the clamps. They have different, I guess, settings, you could say, for different size pieces of equipment. The kit that I bought was the 1-inch to 2 1/4 inch clamps. So hopefully these will fit for my Fisker's axe that I'm going to put on. Well, it's not really an axe, it's more like a hatchet, or a short axe. So let's go ahead and get that started now, and I'll show you the process of installing these. All right, I think I found a location where I want to install this axe, and I think it's going to be right there. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The tools needed for this installation is a 4mm Allen wrench. All right, the first thing you're going to want to do is install the clip nuts onto the backing plates. So that's what we're going to do first per the directions. So we got that installed on there. That's simple. Do that on both of them, then we'll move on to the next step. And the way these brackets work is they're kind of like a handle. You can hold on to it and fish it behind. And this is the way you're supposed to put them on right here. But in my application, I'm actually going to flip these around so they're not facing out. It makes it a little more difficult for the install, but in my application, it'll fit better and look cleaner. You can leave that up to yourself as to how you want to do it. But in the directions, they show you to use this as kind of a handle to fish it behind. And I'm just going to be flipping these around. Next step is you're going to want to determine what location you're going to want to put these. You're going to take your washer and your Allen bolt, and we're going to put that right here and get that started down the middle. It's kind of a tight fit, so you'll want to take your Allen wrench and just kind of thread that into that. All right, so you can choose either way to install these, but I'm going to install them like this, where they're flipped around. See how I did that there? So you saw actually the proper way, or the way they show how to do it, but I'm choosing this method, and you'll see why here in a minute. Now let's get on with the install.
Okay, right here I am installing the Molle panel clamp kit. Now it's kind of hard to fish that bracket behind the back of the Molle panel itself, but the clamp on the front, you just kind of want to get that started. Once you get it threaded, it goes on pretty easily. Right here I've made this process look a lot more difficult than it is, but it really wasn't that hard. Simply because I turned that bracket around the other way, it's a little bit more difficult to get your hands in there and actually manipulate that bracket into position, but you can see that I'm doing that, getting it lined up. It's already threaded on there a bit. Now I'm just taking the Allen key and getting that threaded on to the specific tightness. And once that's done, then you're pretty much done with the whole process. And as I said before, if you have the bracket turned around the correct way, it's a lot easier, but you can see I'm getting it situated the way I want it, getting it tight, and that's it, basically. You can snug it up however tight you want it. It kind of pushes down on the rubber, so you don't want to go too tight with it, but it stays in place real well. And then once you get a tool inside of that bracket or that clamp, it's not going anywhere, and it's not going to vibrate either. It's nice. That's what makes it nice about the rubber. So now we're getting started on number 2 here. You can see I'm just kind of starting it, holding my hand on the bracket, and then threading the clamp down onto it loosely, and then I just grab the Allen key and get that finished up. So we'll do this, and then I'll show you kind of what it looks like with the axe. I think that's what came out really good, is the way the axe is positioned in the truck now, and I have easy access to it. So let's get to it. Okay, now you can see here's the completed setup, and it's pretty solid. I really like how it came out. Very finished looking. I don't see any problems there with them mounted backwards. See how I have that mounted back in there, and it's kind of out of the way. I like the look of that better. The way it was set up before, they kind of stuck out a little bit and they were kind of in the way. All right, here's how it looks with the axe mounted into the brackets. You can see it's a pretty snug fit. It's adjustable, so depending on what you're using, it will work out really nice. And what I like about it is I'm not going to always be wondering where my axe is. I also have a 2-gallon water jug there with fresh water, and a 3-gallon fuel container which contains non-ethanol fuel that I change out every year. And so it's kind of a backup emergency fuel source if I need it. And so that's kind of where I'm at there. I've been having a good time with these Molle panels. I'm not a real overlander guy, but this is going to work out good. I think in the long run, I'll find this very useful and be able to have it on trips, easily accessible. And who knows what I'm going to add next. I don't know. It's just been kind of fun figuring out my little emergency tool kit in the back of my truck. One last thing before I forget. When you strap that down, you can see how that strap needs to kind of go over the other end of the clamp. If you don't allow it to go over the other end of the clamp, it's going to make it more challenging to put on. And you can see how it kind of fits over the other end of the clamp there. And once you get it over that, it makes it a lot easier to really snug it up. If you haven't yet, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Check us out at Instagram at mancave_mayhem. And just remember, folks, I'm just a man in a cave causing mayhem. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.